It's that time again. It's the Burky and the Badger Board Game Babble Show. It's going to get wild. It's going to get wacky. It might even get a little zany. We're going to talk about board games and the board game industry. And, you know, we might talk about anything else we want to talk about.
Woo!
We're here! And the crowd goes wild! Hey, I'm Burky and you're...
And I'm Badger. He's better known as Kevin Burke and Dagger.
Burke and Lammer Dagger. And you are better known as Barry Doobie Brothers. Doobie doo wop wop wop.
Oh, yes.
How you doing, my friend?
The little sing-along. I'm very well, thank you very much. Yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. I am so excited about the show today. You know, it's so fun. All we are doing is having a little fun, putting on a board game babble show, talking with our friends. We're only separated by a little bit of water, something called the Atlantic Ocean. But we're going to have some fun. It's going to get wacky. It's going to get wild. It's going to get zany. We've got new segments, so that's going to be big fun. And really what we're going to do is kind of figure out what each other's been doing lately. So what you been up to, Barry?
Well, I've been back to work because I've been off for a long while with a tennis elbow or tendinitis. Tendinitis. Sorry, tendinite, c'est français.
Is that when you went? Is that when you went against McEnroe?
You cannot be serious, man. The ball was in. Yeah, I remember McEnroe.
Oh yeah, I think he had anger management problems.
No, but he was entertaining as well at the same time. It was funny. Wasn't it funny? I found it funny.
Oh, he's big fun. So what you been up to, buddy?
It's been quite a hectic week. The last couple of days, I had someone I know here, a board game designer, send me the rules for a game that he wanted translated into English because he's going to send it off to Haber, the German company that does all the kids' games. So I quickly knocked that up. It sounds like a nice kind of young children's game. He also contacted me to tell me that his brother, the guy I'm talking about, is called Cyril Fay, but his brother Fabian Fay is just got a game published by Z-Man Games. Oh, called Apocalypse something or other. It's a new game. You don't see anything about it, but look out for it. It's called Apocalypse something or other. I can't remember. Why didn't I write it down? Curse you, piece of paper!
Oh no.
So it's games. How about you, Kevin? What have you been up to?
Well, kind of same thing. Been a busy week. Actually got my fishing boat out. I'm an outdoorsman, so I love to go fishing. And I had to put in a new front deck on it. It was rotted out, and I've got an older boat, but it gets me on the water. And caught a couple fish, and we were doing pretty good. And all of a sudden, I noticed a little oil slick, and sure enough, one of my oil hoses broke. So that kind of cut my fishing trip a little short.
Oh, dearie me.
Yeah, I know. There will be another day, however. And we had some other fun stuff that we were doing. We launched our episode of Luchador at boardgametheater.com. And that's a fantastic game by Backspindle Games. And it actually just recently won the UK Expo Family Game Board Game of the Year last year in 2014. And we did a theatrical presentation of it with my son, and we're all dressed up in luchador Mexican wrestling masks. And if you watch the show, if you have time, you might find somebody use his strength and rip his blouse.
Yeah, and if you watched our last Board Game Babble, episode number 2, you would have seen us watching the trailer for it, but you wouldn't have seen it, unfortunately.
It didn't go on. And
I
we're
did put
working
a
on
link
our
in, though.
production. That's one thing we're trying to do is improve our production value, and we will get there as soon as money just falls from the sky for us. So anybody there that is rich and wealthy and you want to help us out, just rain on us, baby, rain on us. No.
Oh, how I wish it could rain down on me.
Let it rain. Hey, one other thing that was awesome, cool. Maybe we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I did something kind of fun. I love tricking out games, and so I saw the Fantasy Coin LLC was on, and I backed it. And then I ended up subsequently talking to the owner of the company, and he sent me a little sample pack of those feudal Japan coins. Look at these things. These things are so awesome. I mean, I'm so giddy. I just got so excited about the thing. And anyway, I made a video, and it's on the Burky and Badger page. You can see it, or you can see it our Board Game Theater page. But it's just a whole lot of fun. And so that's what I've kind of been up to.
Yeah,
So
I've been
times.
watching your videos. Yeah, I've been watching your videos, and we talked about this in the last episode about these coins, and they did look good. And temptation took over, and I actually backed a small amount of coins. I don't know which ones I'm going to get yet, but when I see the images, I'll tick the box, and that'll be it.
It kind of set the hook on you, didn't we?
Oh, you did indeed. You're not going to do anything this week, are you? You're not going to do anything to me this week and say, oh, there's a Kickstarter here, which is about our $5,000, and if you back it, you're going to get this big boat with gold in it and a leaky engine.
Yeah, no, it's I'm generally don't do very many Kickstarters, so that's kind of fun. Hey, I guess we're about ready to kind of give you a little bit of a rundown of what we're doing on the show, and we've got some fun stuff today. We're going to do the board game news, and this is a segment where our news is kind of things that make you go, and then we've got our good and the not so bad and ugly segment. And then we've got a new segment that we didn't get to last week, but we're going to just try it out. It's an improv fun thing that we're doing unrehearsed, but it's called If They Would Talk. That's going to be a fun thing, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that. And then we have our topical segment. It's called The Babble. And The Babble, today our topic's going to be about, are there too many games in board gaming? And at that time, we're going to ask you guys to join in with us if you have some questions or if you want to join in on the discussion. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And we're going to kind of end up with that type of thing. But for now, we're going to just get right on to the board game news. Things that make you go,
The
Take her
following
away,
film
Barry.
footage is of the prototype version of the game Conan. None of the things you
Oops, wrong music. Ding, 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 ding. Hello, welcome to the news. What interesting news we got today? Well, things that have been making me go, is Fantasy Flight's second edition of Game of Thrones. The not collectible card game, but the living card game. Yes. That's been making me go, because I just started buying the first edition and now I've got to start all over again. Curse you! What are they going to do different apart from the cards art? If the game works as it is, why are they changing it? Why are they doing a second edition? Have they run out of cards to do for the first edition, so they're going to redo them again? Makes me mad!
Barry, have you had a little extra coffee tonight?
No, I've been drinking Vulcan blood.
I got a gallon of coffee in me, so. So tell us how you really feel about Game of Thrones.
I like the game, and it's very hard to get players to play it with me. But it does feel like Game of Thrones. The cards are really thematic. They work really well with each other. The game looks like it's complicated, but it's not. And I don't understand why they're doing this second edition. And I got for my birthday at the beginning of the year the other version of the Game of Thrones, the one which has got the images from the series. And it's like, okay, I've already got this. It's like, so there's like 3 editions. But
Yeah,
anyway,
right.
yeah, it's big news. I don't know how it's going to change the game. I haven't really read anything which is made me go, but it has made me go, otherwise I won't be doing it in this section. So yeah, Game of Thrones second edition with nicer card art, and that's it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a remake of Catan almost. It's just like change the name a little bit, add a little bit of different artwork, and there you got a new offering. Well, I've got something that I want to talk about that makes me go, basically, what it is what we're coming up upon is convention season. All kinds of conventions. I mean, they just had Geek Way of the West or whatever, and St. Louis was here, and there's been lots of little mini cons, but now a lot of the major cons are really starting to pop up. And one of the ones coming up fairly quickly is Origins Trade Fair, and Origins, it's June 3rd through the 7th. This is kind of a medium-sized con that's held in Columbus, Ohio. I've never been to Origins. I would like to go. I know some of my friends that are there that really love that con. I guess it's around 10,000 people, so it's large, but it's not crazy large. And then coming up in June 24th through the 28th is the Dice Tower Con. Yeah! I'm going. And I'm going with my daughter, Gabrielle. She played the maiden in our first episode of Sheriff of Nottingham, but it's for her graduation gift. And so we're going to Florida, and we're really pumped about going to Dice Tower Con. We hear so many good things about it.
Yeah. You lucky dog. I'm jealous.
And then the granddaddy, the big powwow, the grand poobah, if you will, of them all, the mighty Gen Con starts July 30th through August 2nd. Now, Gen Con, we've been to 2 Gen Cons, and this is it's an incredible spectacle. Last year, I believe there was 58,000 people that signed up with badges, and there was well over 200,000 turnstile entries into the conference. Super excited about going there. We're going to actually be helping Arcane Wonders, the Sheriff of Nottingham, doing some events for them and also doing some other things. So I'm really excited about Gen Con. If you've never been to a con before, it might be a little bit overwhelming because it's very large, but it gets a lot of buzz. And then, the grandpa of all of them probably is the big European conference, the Essen Spiel Fair. And that's October 8th through 12th. And I hear a lot of wonderful things. Someday I would love to be able to go to that. Have you been to that, Barry?
I have a couple of years ago, and I should be going this year. Fingers crossed. And maybe I'll be working there. So you might find me in one of the booths selling games. Well, demoing games, not selling games.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
What? I'm out there and see you sometime, Barry.
Sorry, I missed what you said there. It cut out.
Oh, I said I'd hope to get to see you sometime up at Essen.
Yeah, okay. Or I'll maybe see you at Dice Tower Convention one day, which would be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome too. Well, and then the season kind of finishes up with BGG Con, and that's in November, right around Thanksgiving time, down in Dallas, Texas. And last year I got to go to that. And I guess the reason we're talking about it in the news, this gives you a little bit of the dates of what's happening. But, the thing that makes me go, is which one do you go to? I mean, it's difficult. We do this part-time. We work full-time jobs. So it's not like you can just go to every con, and it's not cheap. And yet it's been such a rewarding, fantastic experience to go to these cons, to get to network and connect with people. And BGG Con last year for me was really a fantastic experience. Got to meet so many great people, and a lot of them, maybe even some of them listening today, who knows?
Yes. Convention season here as well. So there's lots of little conventions popping up all over in France. There's one in a couple of weeks' time. Why didn't I write all this down?
Do you get to the UK Game Expo?
I'll be working because that's in a couple of weeks as well. I think that's the end of the month.
I think
I can't go to that. Yeah. So I'm working, unfortunately, and I can't get away. I'd love to try it one day.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think we're about ready to move on to our next segment, and we're going to get into the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The good, the not so bad. Wait for it. And the ugly.
Oh, no.
help! Yes,
So,
this is
Barry,
the part of the show.
go ahead.
This is the part of the show where we talk about games that we played, and we either give them an opinion of good, not bad, or ugly. Okay.
Ugly. Yeah, basically, when we talk about the good, these are games that we're going to recommend to people. If we're talking about the not so bad, these are games that we kind of half-heartedly will recommend, and yet there's something going on in the game, whether it's component, gameplay, or something of that nature that we're not quite satisfied with, but it might not be horrible of a game. But if we give it an ugly rating, if we say you are ugly, that means we don't like this game. So I've been playing a couple games with family and with our game group, and we pulled out a game that was pretty interesting. This is an older game that was designed in 2007, and this is a game that came out and was published by Days of Wonder. And one of the neat things about this particular game is every year at Christmas time, my family would buy board games. And this is back in the day when Days of Wonder, you'd buy a game, and they would give you a coupon code where you could get another one free. You remember that, Barry?
How old are you?
That was
Sorry.
well. I'm 1,000. Okay, I'm like Gandalf. Okay, so, but no, this was those days are long gone. But this was back in around 2007. And that was really quite a promotion that they had. And that was back before, board games were really starting to take off like they are now. But this game is the game Colosseum. You see that?
Yes.
There you go. Oh, there it is in all of its splendor. Colosseum is a game that you're actually in the Roman times. And what you're doing is you're putting on events. And when you do that, what's really cool about this, there's actually a auction where you get assets. And these assets are in the form of gladiators, or they're the form of little things for your set design, the pillars or the plants and things like this. But you can get lions and horses. And each one of these, or several of these categories, like the gladiators, can have a hero. And they afford you extra points at the end of the game. But what it also has is a very interesting mechanism for roll and move that I've not seen in a lot of games. And the way it is, it gives you a couple options on the dice. If you get the Emperor's Logie, it's Loge, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but if you get that thing, you get to roll 2 dice. And what you're trying to do is get the consuls and trying to get the senators and the tribune to come to your Colosseum, because they come with spectators. The tribune comes with 7 spectators, okay? And if you get him in there, you get 7 points, basically, and you get 7 pieces of gold to produce the next event. And so you're kind of a set management type of thing, where you're doing an auction to get these assets to put on these big events. And these events are worth money, and they're worth victory points at the end of the game, and it lasts 5 rounds. Now, this game... This is no longer in print. I've seen this game actually going for some pretty high coin out there on the internet. So, Barry, what do you think my rating of this game is?
Ooh, it's a racing game. I've seen Tom loves this game a lot, and I don't know. It does seem interesting, and again, you've still got hold of it, and you probably bought it back in 2000 and 7, which is when you got a coupon, then you probably still got the coupon in the box, like what I do, and you don't have to do with it. So I'm going to say that it's not good. Not too bad, sorry.
Not so bad, huh? Well, here we go. You ready? Oh, no, baby. This game is good. Today's theme, by the way, you'll notice is Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. And Indy is our good character today. But actually, Colosseum, this game has all kinds of legs, man. Colosseum, in my mind, we play this with the family almost every Christmas. We always have great times. There's always a very interesting tension at the end of this game, and that's why I like it so much. I even got some little Roman coins that I've played with the game now, and I don't know. If you get a chance to play Colosseum, I'd highly recommend it. I think it's a fantastic game. So what do you got? What kind of games you been playing, Barry?
Wow. Ooh, this week I played this little baby. Isn't she nice? Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica. No, it's the Resistance. It's yes, it's futile. No, it's not it. It's Resistance. Anyway.
I am Locutus of Borg.
Resistance is futile. That's it. Yeah, Resistance is a game where you are a group of resistance fighters fighting against the government. But unfortunately, the government has put some spies in with you. And you have 5 missions in which to succeed in taking over the government, or the spies, espions, the spies will either sabotage your missions and then they will win. And it's a basic, very, very simple game where you have a leader. He will choose some players to go on the mission. Each mission has a different amount of players that you have to send. And then there's a vote in the whole team of if this is a good selection or not. And then what will happen is if it's a good selection, they go and do the mission, and they're each given a card, which means one of them is you've succeeded, and one of them is it's a fail. They all submit one of these cards. All the players that go on the mission submit one of these cards. These cards are revealed. If all of them are successes, then the resistance have succeeded in their mission of setting fire to bins or burning the president's cat or whatever. If one of them's a fail, the spies have sabotaged the mission, which means that the saboteurs have sabotaged the mission. And and so the objective, there's 5 missions, and the resistance need 3 to do 3 missions successfully to win, or the spies need to do 3 missions to fail, sabotage. But anyway, what do you think I think of this game, Kevin?
That's interesting. I've played this game several times, and it works well in a group, especially when you've got 5, 7 people. I think you can play up to 8 players, right?
Yeah, it plays up to 10. It's 5 to 10.
Oh, up to 10. We actually have the Avalon edition of it.
Oh, the Merlin one. Yeah.
Yeah. I got a feeling you're probably going to say this is not so bad.
Oh, what am I doing? I'm clicking the wrong buttons here, Kevin, again.
Oh, no.
No, it's a first player marker. We had a riot. There were 6 of us playing this game. We played it, and the resistance lost and the spies won. And we thought, let's go and play something else. And then someone said, no, should we try again? And so we tried it again. We played it again, and the resistance lost. And so we decided we're going to change. No, we didn't change to another game. We played it a 3rd time and a 4th time. This game was a hoot. We just had riots of laughter. We were throwing in weird suggestions for missions. So like whoever had who was the boss, the chief of the resistance would make up a mission, so you improvise. You can go, oh yeah, today we're going to graffiti a table and chairs at the White House, or something stupid like that. And it was just hilarious. We were just coming up with really stupid things, and you're looking at people and you're going, is that the spy? Is that the spy? And then you're like trying to analyze what cards have been played and who's been selected who, and it's not a brain burner, but it really gets you really intense in the other players. You know, you're always looking at them. There was one guy that was constantly just looking at the mat in the middle of the table, and I was like, why are you looking at the mat for? Obviously, I was saying it in French because I was playing with French players. But and it was just a laugh. We were just laughing our heads off. Great game. I couldn't recommend it more. Would you recommend this game?
It kind of depends. I think it's a great game. We've had some really great times playing with it, but to me, it kind of depends on the group of players. If you've got people who like the social interaction, and you know, like my daughter, she didn't know how to bluff with it really, so you know, it was kind of like, I'm it, you know. And then she figured it out, and then it was fine. But you know, we've had a couple other times too where people just weren't that interactive, and if you don't have a group that doesn't like the social interaction party type of thing, then that can kind of throw it off a little. But I've had good games of it, and then I've had so-so games. I've played both the version that you have and the Avalon, and I kind of like the Avalon a little bit better. If I were rating it, I would probably rate it not so bad. I probably wouldn't say good because it's not the one that I would go grab. Oh, I really want to play this game. Now, my son, totally different. He loves that game. If we have a bigger group, that's the one he wants to pull out.
Yeah. This is the first time I've had the game for a year, and it's been sat on my shelf. And I turned up to games night, and someone had brought a copy of it, and I said, should we try that? Because there's 6 of us, and that's a nice big game for 6 of us. And it was the same 6 people all the time, and we just laughing our heads off, and we were just playing the game at its basic level. We weren't playing with all the powers and special roles and things. So it's just a fun experience.
Well, the thing that's nice about it, I mean, it's not a really expensive game. You know, here it's about $17 US. I don't know what it costs there, but it's very accessible. It's easy to teach, so you can get it to the table, and it's always different.
Yeah, it was me that taught it as well. So I had to teach it in a different language. So it was quite easy to teach, which is great. So that's why I'm recommending this. Easy to teach, even in a different language. You could just go, no, but you,
Yeah, that's for sure.
So can you talk about another game then, Burky?
Yeah, I have to grab up this. I've been playing a game, and this is what that game looks like.
It looks like Indiana Jones.
See that one? How about that one?
I recognize that.
It is Splendor. Is it splendid, you may ask? This we shall find out. Well, Splendor's made by Space Cowboys, and this came out and has had a lot of buzz. You know, it's won a lot of awards. Basically, what you're doing is collecting these gems. One thing that's kind of cool about the game is that there's actually the gems are put on poker chips, and having that little stack of poker chips in front of you to play with is always fun. But basically, you're getting these cards. The first person that gets up to 15 points wins the game. There's level 1 card, level 2, and level 3, and they have different gems on them. And the more cards that you get, if you get 2 of the rubies, for instance, and another card that you want to get has a 2 ruby cost, you get that card without having to pay any rubies because you've already developed a little bit of an engine. We actually just played this with the first time with my son-in-law this weekend, and we played 2 games of it. And for me, the game was very easy for us to get to the table. But what do you think my thoughts on the quality of Splendor are, Barry?
I think that you think this game rocks because I've played this game and I think it rocks. And I think a lot of people think that this game rocks, apart from those guys that run the Spiel des Jahres, because they didn't give it an award. Curse them.
You're right.
Go jackpot!
Yeah, I think
Find those sound effects.
I hear some people that really diss on Splendor. They think it's too simple, that there's not much going on. But I think that's what, in my mind, is the beauty of this game. There's times that's what I want, is a simple game. I don't want to have to sit and brain burn. You know, there's times where it's been a long day and I only have, 40 minutes or something like that. And then also, in my mind, this is a very family weight game. So my wife, she likes to play games with us, but she tends to not like the heavier games. She likes Ticket to Ride, and she likes some of these games. She loves Colosseum, which is probably a little heavier weight, medium weight, But generally speaking, she's going to want something that we can quickly get to the table, have a good time, and be done. She doesn't want to sit there for 3 hours. And so I think...
No one wants to sit there for 3 hours. They just want it then. Give it
yeah,
to me.
exactly.
Box of chocolates, flowers, give it.
I think this would be a great game to get on an iOS app. I think this would, yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah,
but you don't have a tablet yet, right?
No, I've only just got one of these dudes. So yeah, but as you said, your one thing that you said about the gems being printed on chips. That's what makes this game fun. It's just sitting there going.
Absolutely. And the way that I think the mechanism, the way you can get that too, is really, there's a lot more strategy than I think this game gets credit for, because you can take one of each. You can get a total of 3 coins or gems, or you can take 2 from a pile if they're available, or you can reserve a card. And by reserving that card, you can take it that somebody else is going to take that card, but you want it too. So, and even sometimes if you don't want it, you take it and then you get a gold chip. So there's this little bit of, play back and forth, and just a little bit of take that type of aspect to it, because you don't want the other guy to go out.
Yeah, it's a bit more brain burnery for me, because I play to win because I've played against my wife, and it is a head-to-head. And I'm looking at that first lot of cards, and I'm plotting a route. I'm going, okay, right. You've got that guy. He needs 3 reds, 3 greens, and 3 whites. Okay, there's quite a few greens on the table. There's 3 reds. Yeah. Okay, well, and then I've got my route, and then I'm just like, okay, so what chips do I need to get now?
Absolutely.
And I do it like that. And it is really, really a thinky game, but it's very light thinky game. My daughter plays this. She's 8 years old, and she plays this quite well. The scores are always kind of close. Sometimes she drops behind and gets about 7 points while I'm on 16. My wife's on 12 or something like that. But this game is close. It's very thinky. It's very easy to teach. Again, this is a game that I can teach to my parents who are not really gamers. And it's just a case of telling my dad, no, you can't take 2 of the same color because there's less than 4 there. Don't touch it. Yeah. So yes, great game. I can't recommend this game enough.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. I think it's good, and I love the fact that you can teach this game in 5 minutes. So it's easy to bring, and it's almost, not quite, but almost a filler category, because you can play it fairly quickly. Once you're familiar with it, you can whip the thing out in a half an hour,
Yeah, and what surprises me, there's no theme. There's no theme on the thing, but I still love playing it. Why?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's it. So you got another game then you've been playing there, buddy?
Yes. This again, this week has been a hectic week for me. I've played a lot. Well, I haven't played a lot, but I played for the first time a game. A friend brought a game round, and he started to teach it to us in French because I'm in France. Yes. Yada, yada, yada. But when I was looking at my player board, it was in English, and so I was trying to put 2 and 9 together to get 17. That game was a Roll for the Galaxy. I haven't played Race for the Galaxy. No, I haven't played Race for the Galaxy. So this is my first kind of delve into the Galaxy itself. It's quite easy to learn. It's basically you have a planet and a technology, if I remember correctly, without saying any French words. And then you have a set amount of dice, and everyone rolls their dice at the same time. They then have this little control panel, and they assign dice to the actions that they want to do. But they can use one of their dice to command an action. And if nobody commands an action, then that action doesn't happen. So there's like a production phase, there's a planet phase, there's a spaceship phase, there's an research phase. So if nobody activates one of these actions, if you've put 4 dice underneath that action, then and you haven't put one on to command it, and no one else has, you've lost those dice and they go back into your pot. And it's kind of resource management. There's not many icons. There's 5 icons and then colors, and you're basically producing resources, and there's military force, and then there's science and research force, and it's the first one to get 15 tiles in front of them that wins the game.
Yeah, I just we actually got this game, and I had it setting for a while. I was actually recommended to play this game by Brittany Bowe, the GameWire girl. She works for GTS Distributing. And anyway, she so highly recommended. She says, you got to get this game. And it was available at my online producer and or store. And so I actually purchased it. But just this weekend, we played 2 games of it. And just like you said, after we got the hang of it, it was pretty good. It was, I'd like to play it some more, and I'd like to play it with more players. We played a 2-player game.
Okay.
I don't know how many people you played with. 4?
We played 4. So there was sometimes there were 4 out of the 5 actions that were being commanded, and sometimes there was only 3 out of the 5 actions being commanded. It was really funny.
Yeah.
No, we played with 5 players. Sorry. We played 5.
Well, I got to think that you think this is a good game.
Ah, dearie me.
Oh,
no, it's not.
No,
it's
ugly.
It's not that at all. It's actually not a bad game. I just wanted to show off the ugly picture. That was all.
I was going to come all unglued on you.
Come on.
I was going to go ape on ugly on you, buddy. You know, it's like you're off the show. I ain't doing this no more if you're going to do that to roll for the gap.
I'm going to rip my blouse. No, it was all right. It was my first play, and as I said, I was a bit confused with some of the rules at the beginning of the game, but halfway through the game, started to understand how it worked, and my wife started to understand how it worked, and she does this winning thing. She always wins her first game, even though she doesn't know what she's doing. And so, so I think that kind
This I know about. This I know about.
You have the same problem. Yeah, so it wasn't bad.
Have you played Race for the Galaxy, the original card game then?
No, I haven't, no.
I purchased it a few years ago, and I just had a hard time with it. I'm getting old, I guess, and I can't figure things out. But my son taught me it, but I was having a hard time with the iconography of the cards and getting it straight, and I just got kind of burnt out with it, to be honest. We played a couple times, but just wasn't interested. And then the subsequent expansions came out that weren't highly touted. At least the last one wasn't. But then I heard about this one, that it was easier to learn. It's a little bit quicker, all of those kind of things. And, the first game, Barry, I was just like you. I was feeling a little bit out of my element. I was feeling like I couldn't really get on on track. I was trying to figure out, okay, what's the strategy? I mean, what do I have to combo here? And my son is so smart and sharp. I mean, the kid just boom, 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 and he's building, and he's getting 7, 8 dice every time, you know. And I'm like, I got my piddly little 3 because I can't get any money on the track and, you know, that crap. But anyway,
Yeah.
but then I said, okay, let's do it again. And the second game, all of a sudden it goes, oh, that makes sense. Started to learn the tiles a little bit and go, okay, I need to combo that. And all of a sudden it's making sense. And now I'm thinking, no, I kind of like this because it's, you know, I can play this. We played a couple games in 30 minutes. It wasn't that hard. And if we can get 3 and 4 players now, I think that's going to, then there's more options for your actions. You know, when you have 2 players, you roll a die to try to get one. So, but if you both pick the same action and you roll a die and happen to roll the same one, everybody only has 1 action. Well, that's no fun.
No.
So I don't know if I'd recommend it as a 2-player. Maybe other people could talk better about that one, but
yeah, it's pretty good as a 5-player game because everyone does everything at the same time. And then you just go, right, anyone did the explore action? Did anyone build the planet? Did anyone build any? And it's all done at the same time. And everyone's like, okay, yeah, I did that. Oh, I got dice. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, great game. It's
so
good, but
you didn't feel like it slowed it down with the 5 players?
it was very slow at the beginning because we didn't understand what we were doing. But as everyone got into it and as the game got halfway through, everyone picked it up and understood that if they sent a blue rocket to a blue planet, they get an extra point and things like that. So,
Right.
no, more players is simultaneously. It's simultaneous. It does expand the game a bit, but it's pretty much simultaneous.
Yeah. Well, that's what my son said. He said, no, you don't want to play this game with cheaters.
No. That's what I hate about real-time games. Maybe that's a subject for another time, real-time games. It's just I'm always worried that there's someone at the table cheating.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing another game that we ended up kind of playing by accident. I heard it was good, but we needed a filler type of game. And this is a game that came out by Eagle Griffin Games. And it's been around a little while. I think they recently did a reprint of it. But being today we have the theme of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, we've kind of got this archaeological, type of thing going on. We played a game called Incan Gold.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, Incan Gold. Now, have you played this game, Barry?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So over there, yes, 8 players.
Well, we played it. We've initially played it, learned it with a 5-player contingent, and then we've played it with more since. And I think what you mentioned when you played Resistance, you said, "Oh, let's play it again," and then you played it a 3rd time. And that's what this game is. I mean, you've got 5 little excursions into the temple, and you've got these 2 little voting cards. You've got the torch that you're going into the temple to find the stuff, and then you've got the torch that tells you card that votes to go out of the temple. And what's cool is there's some artifacts you can get, and they're worth 5 gold or whatever it is. And then there's these danger cards. There's like 3 of each, like 3 of the spiders, or 3 of the wall falling down, or 3 of the little goober guy that's there, or 3 of the snakes. Yeah, he looks like a little mug rub, doesn't he?
We call him a witch.
Yeah, he's kind of creepy.
I'm a goober guy.
But anyway, they if 2 of those come out, then the excursion is ended. But you always have the opportunity to get out, and you can get, there's other cards that have gems on it, and it's divided by the group, all of that type of thing. So really, I'm not giving a great overview here, but basically it plays really quick. It's super fun. The minute we got done with that game, we were ready to go, let's do it again. So what do you think I think about it?
I think you think it's going to be in the middle. Well, you've obviously played it again, so I'm going to say it's good. I'm going to say you think it's good.
Yeah, I kind of let that one out of the bag.
Get back in the bag.
Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know if you're like me, Barry. There's not very many games that I would rate ugly. There's several of them that I would probably put in this not so good category. But before I purchase a game, I tend to watch 2 or 3 reviewers like yourself, and I'll watch you play the game and review it and show the components. And so I usually don't just get a game because people are talking about it. I get it after I've reviewed it, and I'll know pretty much whether I like it by watching the review. Sometimes it happens where everybody's buzzing and excited about it, and I go, nah, I didn't care for it. But generally speaking, oh, that's my kind of game. I like that. And that's when I purchase them. So we're so much more informed now than we were years ago, where you just bought it off the shelf. Oh, you are distinguished.
Yeah, I'm like you. I have a beard. Yeah, I agree with you entirely, he says, coughing on the hair that was stuck in my mouth. Yeah, this game is it is fun. I've had some bad experiences with it. There's people that just don't understand it, because it is basically a push your luck, and it's like a toss of a coin. You go, should I continue and hope that it's heads, or should I leave and take the money that I've got already? And it's basically that. But the thing is, it's simultaneous, and that's where the fun is, and that's where the risk is because everybody's doing it at the same time. Everyone's going one step up on the ladder. There's money, they share it out, and then they think, should we go to the next step together? And some people drop out and collect money which has been dropped, and some people just save their money that they've got. And it's just that push your luck element. And when we play it, we do a 3-player variant because it's my wife, my daughter, and myself. We love this game. It's just fun. Are we going to go in? Are we going to continue? Turn the card over?
Yeah, exactly. And those tokens too, those artifact cards. In order to really take advantage of that, you have to be the only one that leaves the temple with that artifact card to get the 5. If 2 people go out at the same time because they think they're going to get it, then they don't get it.
It stays. Yeah.
Yes. So that's a push your luck type of element too, but it's like a push your luck to leave first, but then you may forego getting additional gold and stuff and for the subsequent parts. And it's like people will exit early, and there'll be 1 or 2 people left, and they're just watching the 17 card throw and 17 coins they're getting, and it's crazy.
How many times has that happened to you then?
It has happened a few times. You know what we did, Barry? And we want to mention something for our listeners. This is kind of neat. But when we play Ink and Gold, we take out our Stonemaier treasure chest. And this is our Stonemaier treasure chest. And Stonemaier treasure chest, they've got these really cool gold. Can you see those? And these things they're fantastic. And they've got ore. They've got these gems that are in there. Pretty cool. Wood and brick. Those kind of things. And we actually pull these out instead of using the little tokens that come with the game. And anyway, it's just a lot of fun. And I use Stonemaier games for a lot of our things. But last episode, we talked to Jamie, and he's doing this just for the listeners of the Burky and Badger show. If you go to Stonemaier Games and you go to their website, we have got a coupon code for you. And the coupon code is really simple. It's just Burky Badger, Burky Badger, Badger. Burky Badger, and you'll get $10 off a purchase of a treasure chest from Stonemaier Games on their website. It's only good till the end of May, but I talked to Jamie, and he was just really gracious to offer that. We're not being paid for this or anything. He just wanted to help us out with the show, and Jamie they do such fantastic work. They've got the game Euphoria and Viticulture with the Tuscany expansion and some other really cool ones. They just finished a successful Kickstarter, but I love these treasure chests. And if you haven't seen these before, these just make it so much more fun to play with the games.
Yeah. Here you can see is the Stonemaier Games website, and there's the treasure chest. It comes with 6 different resources, and they do look lovely and scrummy and munches. They're fantastic.
And they're heavy. they're heavy. I mean, when you grab that ore, it's the real deal. It's just a lot of fun. Yeah, so send some love over to Stonemeyer Games. It was fantastic of Jamie to do that. Thank you, Jamie, for helping us out with that and helping our listeners out with that.
Yes, Jamie, thank you very much for making viticulture for me, because I feel, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, yeah, that's where I work, and the game is just, I just love the game. I need to crack it out again and do like the third tier. We're up to the third tier, but we haven't played a third tier yet. So
I don't have that game or the Tuscany expansion, obviously, but I guess that was rated as one of the best expansions of the year on the Dice Tower Awards. And
yes, it was. What was it?
I believe it was for one of the nominees for one of the best expansions for the year.
Yeah.
And I love the way Jamie. Okay, I love the way Jamie handles himself too. He just he really does business right, and he really cares about the customer. You can tell that, and I've been super happy with what I've seen from him anyway. But well, I tell you, we're going to move on, and we're going to go to our next segment. This is kind of interesting. We're going to just shoot from the hip on this one, guys. So we're going to talk to a segment that's called If They Could Talk. If They Could Talk. Wrong one.
Sorry.
Now, see, that's a monkey with a keyboard over there. So what we're going to do, this is kind of a little bit of a takeoff of the Who's Your Line Anyway type of thing. And we've started with a segment, and we have a situation. We have two characters. The situation is these two characters are sitting at a train station. And we're going to end this up with an ending line. And the ending line is going to be, and that's why I brush my teeth. So the situation is we're sitting at a train station. The ending line is, and that is why I brush my teeth. And the two characters are going to be yours truly, and I am going to be doing it as the Sheriff of Nottingham. And my counterpart is going to be...
I'm going to be Kong.
So you may start there, King Kong.
Oh, left a bit. I'm trying to get this camera. There we go.
Okay. Excuse me, sir. Do you know what time the 8:15 from Wensleydale is?
I don't know anything about the time. I am here to spy out the vile merchants who are trying to smuggle contraband into the kingdom.
Do you think that they're probably smuggling it in a train by any chance?
I think that the train may be full of compartments. What compartment have you been traveling in, sir?
Well, I'm a bit too big for a compartment. I normally eat the engine, if you know what I mean.
The engine eater is what they call you. I have no use for you, you oaf.
Why? Why do you not have any use for me? I'm just waiting for the 8:15 from Wensleydale. That's all.
What is this Wensleydale, and why do you want to go there?
Wensleydale is the third stop after the Nottinghamshire Community Club, which normally leaves at 5:52 on a Wednesday afternoon, and it normally carries about 5 cars, which are not very nice, and they kind of like jam up my teeth. But on a Wednesday and a Sunday, alternatively, they make up a round table every hour, which is really interesting.
Oh, I love the round table, full of juicy components like veal and chicken. I love chicken.
Chicken? Chicken? Which card is the chicken in? I hate chicken. I hate it when the feathers get stuck in my teeth, and that is why I have to brush my teeth.
That is why I brush my teeth too. Okay. Well, there you have it.
If they could talk, that's what they would talk about. The Sheriff of Nottingham and Kong would talk about the 8:15 from somewhere to eat chickens.
And engines that are stuck in his teeth. That was pretty good.
I don't know where it came from. Yeah, maybe we'll do another one next time. If you've got any suggestions for maybe a situation and an end line, leave them in the comment box in the video, and we'll pick some and use them, and then we'll go through our game collections and find some really obscure arts and make the box talk.
Yeah, that'd be great. What would they think? Well, I tell you, we're going to go on to our new segment called The Babble. And The Babble, this is our topical segment where we talk about things related to board gaming. And today we'd like to invite you. Yeah, there's the two monkeys. I don't know which one is me and which one is you there, Barry.
I'm the one with the hat.
Oh, you get the hat. Why do you get the hat?
Because I got the spyglass as well.
Oh, the spyglass.
Oh, yes. That's
well,
me.
The Babble, we're going to talk about topics and board games, and we'd like to invite you. If you are watching live, you can join in on the question and answer, but you can also follow us on Twitter. You can find me at Kimpek, Kimpek, Kimpek at Twitter. And Barry, if you want to, yours is the T Balance O Power, T Balance O Power.
There it is.
And we'll be happy to let you join in on the conversation. But today's topic that we're going to talk about is, are there too many games? How do you feel about that, Barry?
I keep putting the wrong pin number. What do I think about it? Are there too many games? Well, yes. And there you go. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.
Adios, amigos. That's a wrap.
Yes, I think there's too many games. There you go. And what do you think, Kevin? Is there too many games?
Oh, gosh. You know, I think there's so many games that it almost has gotten to the place for me where it's a little bit daunting, a little bit overwhelming. You know, you go to Essen and or you go to Gen Con and some of these big conferences like this, and all the game manufacturers are there, and people are, you know, just running, almost trampling you down. I mean, you should see these guys with the cameras, and people are just rushing into the convention hall to look at the new offerings that everyone is waiting for. And it's like a madhouse. I mean, do you know how many board games were actually published last year, Barry?
Have you got a number?
I don't have an accurate number. I've heard some things, and I haven't really researched it. But from my understanding, there was over 960 some new board games just last year.
Why couldn't you let me guess? I thought you had a number, and I was going to go, okay, let me have a guess then. 959. Yes?
I'm a little slow. I need more coffee.
I need more Vulcan juice.
Well, that's a potload of games, man. And I don't know if you take this whole concept of the cult of the new. You know, everybody wants to grab onto the new greatest thing, right?
Yeah. It astounds me. I'm cult of the old, although I do buy occasionally a new game from time to time after time. If you stop and you look and you will find me.
Yeah, I'm guilty of the cult of the new thing, because I've really had a resurgence in board gaming in the last 3 years. You know, we've been gamers since I was in high school. Have all the original Axis and Allies and Shogun and Conquest of the Empire, Fortress of America, all that stuff, and we played those games, and we would buy games every Christmas. But I really started having a little bit of a acquisition disorder. And these games are so fun, and they're so fantastically designed now. The components are going up a notch. I mean, everything is it's super fun, and it's like, but when is enough? You know, how do you get through all of these games? It's like, I only have so many minutes to play games each week, you know, and then you got to learn the new rules. And then if you're the one that has to teach the game, or, I mean, I find that very daunting now.
What, teaching games? Or the size of
just
games that are coming out?
No, more the fact that there's so many. I mean, I'm having a hard time remembering the rule set sometimes from games because I haven't played them recently. And it's like, oh yeah, how does that go? It's like maybe it's my age. I don't know, but.
Yeah, but can I ask you this then, Kev? If you think there's a lot of games coming out, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Well, I don't think it's a bad thing. I guess I love this hobby. I love innovation. I love that there are new themes that are coming out, the creativity. I love art. You know, I paint wildlife myself, and I see, you know, the art that's coming out in these new games, and I just think it's fantastic. And sometimes the storylines are amazing, and there's all kinds of new mechanisms. So I think that's good for the hobby. The downside that I think is that we're not enjoying some of the stuff that was our Grail games that we just love to play all the time because we can't get to them.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. You buy a game. When we were young, you bought a game and you would play it probably once every week, and you didn't have to teach the rules. You just break it open and play it. And that is very rare nowadays. Maybe Splendor, you'll just crack it open and you go, come on, I'm going to beat you this time. And you just play it. You don't have to explain the rules. You just go straight into it with your strategy and you go, bang, fun.
Absolutely. We did that just recently with Stone Age. You know, we played it, and I played with you on the Board Game Arena just to learn the game and started to kind of get it. And then we played it one night, and then we played it with our game group with my daughter and her husband and my other daughter. And the following week, we played it again. And that not having to explain the rules and not having that I don't know what you call it, that slight tension or apprehension. Oh, am I playing this right? I don't even know how to play this feeling. And so you play it and you enjoy it because it's new, but at the same point, you don't feel like you know what you're doing and getting on top of it. And once you've played it a couple of times, all of a sudden you can start to, I'm going to do that strategy, or no, I'm going to do that. And then you can actually determine whether you actually like the game or not. But when you only get it to the table a couple times, you really can't develop anything.
Yeah. It is annoying. You learn a game and then you move on to the next one. You learn a game, you move on to the next one. And as you said, it makes it hard to remember rules. And again, I like to play a game and I like to play it several times and try out different strategies, and sometimes not play with a strategy at all and just go and and have fun.
Well,
but
we were playing Colosseum. Yeah, no, exactly, because you're just too intense thinking about the rules. And we hadn't played Colosseum maybe in a year, and that's the game that we talked about earlier. And there was something sticking in my head about a rule of that game. But when we actually read it in the rule book, there was just a little bit of ambiguity in the wording. There was an or between the two conditions on whether you could keep the heroes. And I knew there was something that was important to end game scoring, but for some reason I just couldn't quite tap into it. And then when we read the rules, it was like, oh yeah, now I understand the conditions because we researched it. But we had to sit there and talk about it for longer than we wanted to. And yeah, you know, you sit and I'm not that much for, you know, rules lawyering anyway. I don't like that stuff. But we're trying to play it right at the same time. But if we'd have been playing that game more regularly, we wouldn't have had those kind of thoughts.
Yeah.
I think.
If
What do
you'd
you think
asked me-
about with? Go ahead.
If you'd
Yeah,
ask
go ahead.
me, do I think it's a good thing or a bad thing for the hobby? I would say.
Okay, I'll ask you. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
You know what I think? I think that having so many games come out over the years, over and over again, is what would they say? They would say that it was something kind of like ugly. I think it's a bad thing, Kevin. I think it's a
Oh.
terrible thing. That
I think that it dilutes the market. I've seen games come out and they are just this game, but slightly different. There's one or two rules different, but different art. And it's like, okay, it's like the diamonds, the clubs, and the hearts, and the other. They're all basically the same game, but they all have these little unique twists. And when you play a game, you just want to play a game which is unique and thematic to the things that you like. I don't want to own 50 different miniature games because they all do slightly one thing different. You're all basically moving on squares, or you're attacking with dice, or something like that.
Can we say love letter? Batman love letter. Hobbit
but
love letter.
that's not exactly what I'm trying to get at. Right, for example, Hero Quest. Yes, Hero Quest is a roll and move dungeon crawl jobby. There's the Dungeons and Dragons board game, which is a roll and move dungeon crawl jobby. There's not much difference between the two apart from a combat system and traps and things and the story, obviously. And then you've got Descent, which is a little bit more interesting, but it's still not the same. There's quite a few games that are coming out on Kickstarter, which are grid-based dungeon crawls with minis. They just got different minis, but they just got slightly different, and some of them are very much similar to another game, and it's like, stop. I don't want to have to buy that game because that game is almost the same as this game. It's like buying pink fairy washing up liquid and green fairy washing up liquid. And they're both the same thing, but there's just different colors. And that's how I feel. I feel swamped in that sense. And where else was I going? I babbled. Sorry.
So when you're saying that you kind of feel that there's kind of almost stamped on themes and too much similarity, do you feel like the market where you're at is saturated to the place where people are not buying as many games because of it, or they're buying games that maybe they didn't want to buy?
That's my fear. People are going to buy a game thinking it's this, and it's actually crud comparison to another game. For example, I'm trying to think of a good example. You buy a game, let's say that you buy Space Cadets, and this is probably a very bad example. You buy a friend of yours buys Space Cadets, but Space Cadets Dice Duel is better than Space Cadets. And they buy Space Cadets, and it's like, oh, God, this is a good game. I like this. And you go, no, you don't want that game. You want this game. And then they're like, oh, I've just wasted all my money on that. And, if there's too many games out there, and a lot of them are under par, and people keep buying the under par ones, they're going to be put off of the hobby. They're not going to see the good games. And the good games are there, but not everyone talks about them anymore. The good games like Carcassonne, Catan, Ticket to Ride, they're there. And they are gems because they do something which was not done at the time, and they still do something which is still not being done at the time. And that's great. Uniqueness, but there's so much saturation. There's this game and that game, but they're only slightly smidgen different, or one's got really nice card art, or one of them's got fabulous miniatures, and that frustrates me. It's just I've played tested games, and I find that it's like, okay, this game is like that game, but it's got these kind of characters, and it's like,
well, I see that in sometimes with thematic games. There's some games that there's a theme that I prefer over another theme. An example that I would have of that is from Queen Games. They've got the classic Wallenstein, but then they also have the Shogun, and that has the cube tower.
That's a good example.
Well,
yeah,
they're the same game, but I like that German feel of it. And I have German heritage, so there's just something about that game that I like. I like the map. I like the fact that there's coins in it instead of the treasure chests that come with Shogun. Now, I like the Japanese theme too, so I really like that game, but they're the same game. So I hear what you're saying. For me personally, it doesn't bug me at all, because before I purchase a game, I generally research it. So if it's just the same old, I usually will catch on to that. I've had a little bit of a problem with that with some worker placement games. They just like, well, this is the exact same thing with just a slapped on theme. And then it's kind of like, if I'm going to play that kind of game, I'm going to play this one. I don't need 3 of that kind of game. And I think that's kind of what you're saying too.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm saying. And again, if there are going to be people out there that are not going to research, and they're just going to go, "Oh, I'll buy that because it's zombies," and they take it home, and it gives them a bad experience, and they think, "Okay, that wasn't what I was expecting. I'm going to stop buying games now." They're going to arrive at a point where they're going to stop buying games because they got too many zombie games, or they got too many this type of game or that type of game. I've got too many Game of Thrones living card games at the moment. So,
well, what about people? Do you think it's causing people? There's only so much income that you have to discretionary spend on board games. I mean, you usually have to keep it under $50,000 a year, right?
I married the wrong woman.
So, but I mean, seriously, how do you buy them all? And these aren't cheap games, especially the good ones. You're going to spend $30, $40, $50, $60, and it's hard. That's why I research before I purchase games, because I don't want to have that bad experience where I get a game that, oh, this is the same old thing, or this wasn't that great. But how about the market itself? They talk about now being this renaissance, if you will, of board gaming and this resurgence in the industry. And a while back, Chaz Molitor had a episode on his Paradise show, and he talked about, have we reached that saturation, kind of like the comic book industry? Are we ready to implode, or are there new people coming into the hobby that is taking care of that issue?
Yeah, the new people coming into the hobby are going to be overwhelmed, and they're just going to be swamped, and they won't know where to go. New people are going to come in and watch Tom Vassell say, this game's good, this game is not good. They're going to go out and buy those good games, and then maybe be disappointed because it didn't do what they thought it did. And there will be games that they will love and cherish. I mean, I could admit to this as well. There was a time when I watched Tom and I was like, okay, that's a good game. Okay, I'll go and buy it. Oh, that's a good game. I'll go and buy it. And most of the times they were gems. But some of them didn't fit comfortably with me, and the theme was wrong, or the mechanics didn't make me think that this was a good game. And, for new people coming into it, it's going to be hard work for them. And
Absolutely.
I feel sorry for them, basically, because there's too much saturation.
Well, Tom Vessel's the reason that I've had to up my budget from $30,000 a year to $50,000. So that guy can sell board games. I'm telling you, if he likes a board game, he's going to go, wow, I love this game. You got to get this game. This game is in my top 100. And when he says that, you go, I got to get that game. I don't even like that kind of game, but I got to get it.
Yeah. I sometimes get that as well. I'm like, oh, come on, grow up. You've only got this amount of money. So,
Yeah, I'm being pretty facetious too. I have to be very careful with my budget. So, but it's one of those situations. I think that the market itself, I think, will regulate itself a little bit too. You know, if these companies aren't producing quality games, they're not going to stick around. So I think there's going to be some attrition there. And maybe unfortunate with Kickstarter that there are games that are less par than maybe other games. That's kind of a whole nother topic, but
yeah, definitely. I mean, it seems like every Tom, Dick, and Harry is going, oh, I can design a board game because they're popular. And then they're just knocking out a game which is Ticket to Ride clone, but with a different theme or, you know. Ugh. And yeah, it's good that all these different versions will one day progress to something greater and something which you go, bang! Oh, yeah, that mechanic from that game and this mechanic from this game and this art style, they make this fantastic game. But it's just, you know, it's lots of sand on the beach.
Well, you know, last year at Gen Con, there was a designer panel. And actually in that designer panel, there was different questions. And one said, do you ever, you know, copy or work off of other people's thoughts or designs? And all of the designers, and these were top named designers, were saying, absolutely, you're stupid if you don't. You take a design and then you try to innovate it. And it's kind of like, you know, you had the old thrashing machine to, you know, harvest your wheat, and then it evolved into a combine. It got better and better and better. And it's kind of the same situation with gaming mechanics. They're adding little twists to them, but it's still the initial mechanic, but they're adding something, trying to be innovative. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. I just feel that a lot of people are fishing around. They got, oh, let's do this theme, but with a Dominion style deck building game. Oh, let's do that theme with a Dominion style deck building game. And it's like, well, come on.
That's a great example. How about, you know, Dominion versus Trains?
Yeah, I haven't played Trains, but I can see that there's a progression because it's this same mechanic of deck building, but you're actually physically doing something on a board as well, if I'm correct.
Yeah, no, it is. But, you know, for me anyway, when I played it, I don't really need both of those. I like Trains fine, but I like Dominion. But they're kind of the same thing. So some people prefer just straight old Dominion. Some people prefer Trains, but I could go with either one, but I really don't need both of them. So I hear what you're saying on that level.
Yeah. And again, I get people sending me saying I got a game. It was going to be Kickstarter soon. And some of them are nice. Some of them are good. Some of them are unique. But sometimes you get a game and it's like, okay, this is Munchkin with different art. This is Monopoly with a different theme, and it's like, oh, come on, do something different. We shouldn't be having all these games. We should be just having. It was like when we were young. We would talk about the good programs on telly. We would talk about the A-Team and Knight Rider. There was nothing else interesting on the telly. It was A-Team and Knight Rider. Now the kids, they've got all these other programs to talk about. There's just too much to talk about, and so there's no real kind of you know, you've got one friend who likes that program, but you got this friend over here who likes the other program, and then you got that friend over there who likes that program, and but you don't like that program, and so there's not like this big congealing together as gamers. You know, this person likes Resistance, this person likes Firefly, that person likes Galaxy Truckers, and it's like, well, why can't we just all like Ticket to Ride and play that together?
You know, another thought kind of related is, and I don't know how this works for you with gaming groups, but you know, with our libraries expanding because of all the games that are out there and that we acquire over time. I have about 300 games in my library, in my collection, and I actually need to kind of call some of my games out, I think, because one of the problems we have is making decision on what game we're going to play. You have a diverse audience now. Some people like more Euro, some people like more thematic or Mirror Thrash, whatever you want to call it. Some people are, would like a worker placement game. Other people want a party game, and you look at your collection, and there's so many of them. Almost every week we look at our collection and go, so what should we do next week? How can we figure this out? And we never agree. And so, okay, you pick 3 games, I'll pick 3 games, you pick 3 games. We're going to all give them a number, make a game out of that to find out what game we're going to play, because there's so many games, we don't know what to play.
Yeah, and that in itself is a problem. Having too many games. When we were young, we had Monopoly, we had Trivial Pursuit, we had I had Masterpiece. So we had a limited selection, and we would play a game every week.
Oh, we played the heck out of those games.
Yeah, precisely.
We played Risk till the cows came home, and Axis and Allies till. That sat on the table for a week usually.
Exactly. As you said, I said, my wife, well, what do you want to do tonight? Do you want to watch a film? She goes, should we play a board game? I goes, okay, then choose one. And then it's an argument between my daughter and my wife, what game to play. And I'll say, yeah, I'll play that. And then my daughter says, no, I don't want to play that. Oh, about this. And then my wife says, oh, I don't want to play that. And it's like, oh, God, just pick a game and we'll play it. There's too much choice.
Yeah, it's a simple life. It's Ricky Skaggs wrote a song. The simple life is a life for me, a man and a wife and a family. The Lord up above knows I'm trying to live a simple life in difficult time. Where's the simplicity? Everything's gotten kind of busy and complicated, but we're talking about this whole deal, and I'm like, the truth is, though, I really do enjoy these new games. When they come out with the new game, I want it. Aquasphere came out, and Tasty Minstrel did it, and I wanted it. Roll for the Galaxy, everyone was telling me, and I wanted it.
I think it was Joel Eddy put up on Twitter this week. He said, have a look at this on Kickstarter. It's Defenders of the Wasteland. It's Richard Lanius's new game, which is based on Defenders of the Realm, which is based on Pandemic. So and I said to him, well, let's all sing along now, because we don't need another pandemic. Mad Max Wasteland. Sorry, I just went out the window there. Yeah, but it's like, we don't need another pandemic. We don't need another game where it's like, oh, you move 3 pieces and then you turn over a card and it tells you what to do. Okay, and then this happens. I wonder
what people actually feel about the amount of games that are coming out. It'd be great when we're going to show up a little bit of information at the end of the show here, where you can go to our guild and you can go to our Facebook page. You can also follow us at Twitter and different things. You can go to boardgametheater.com, and we actually have a Burky and Badger page where you can have an audio version of this podcast. And we'd love to hear what you have to say about this. It'd be great to get your feedback, because it's a deep topic, and I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer to it or not. I think there's a lot of different perspective, and it depends on your disposable income, depends on your time, it depends upon a lot of factors.
Yeah, so I was expecting the picture to come up there. It didn't come up. Yeah, so basically, would you agree with me that there are too many games and it's a bad thing for the hobby, or would you agree with Kevin that there are too many games out there, but it is a good thing that there are too many games out there, because it spawns babies and other kind of stuff.
Well, in a perfect world, Yeah, just take a look. We can leave that up for a little bit so you can see that the boardgametheater.com Burky Badger page, or the Facebook Burky Badger, or the Board Game Geek Guild at 2248. But I think it's in an ideal world, I think we probably would prefer to have fewer high quality games available. So if for instance, 1,000, yeah, chuck the rubbish ones and get all of the slag out of there. But, if we had, instead of 1,000 games being developed, that we had 200 games that were just really fantastic games. And then we get to pick and choose the 20 of them that we are able to purchase every year based on our taste. But when you've got 1,000, yeah, well, that's the perfect world, but that probably is not going to happen. So do your homework before you buy your games. Look at reviews, hear what people have to say, gauge what you'll get their taste, and see if it matches with yours, and that helps you prevent some bad purchases.
Yes, wise words there, Burky. Oh, should we wind things up then?
I think so. This has been a great time, Barry. It's been a lot of fun talking to you, and I will try to do this in another couple weeks or so. And I think it's going to be great as we develop more people interacting with us to see what they have to think about this, and we can incorporate some of your thoughts, as listeners in the show. That'll add for extra dynamic, and we would really love to have some interaction with you and get to know you too. So thanks for listening, and we'd sure appreciate it if you'd share our information too with Facebook and Twitter and things like that, so that we can continue to have more community.
Yeah, definitely. And don't forget that there's the special offer on the Stonemaier Games treasure chest.
Yes.
What you have to do is put in the special code of Burky and Badger. No,
Just Burky Badger.
Yeah, no and in the middle. Sorry, I mucked up there. Also, if you've not got time to sit and watch the video, there is a audio version of this show. Kevin, have you got any more details on where this audio version is?
The audio version will be on our Facebook page. It's Facebook/Burky Badger, Burky and Badger for the Facebook. The website is boardgametheater.com, and then there's the Burky Badger page that has the audio podcast. That'll probably be up by tomorrow as we download this and it gets processed. And feel free to download it, listen to it. And the video version as well. We'd love to hear from you and love to have comments. And get on Jamie Stegmeier's Stonemaier game site. I think you'll enjoy that treasure chest if you haven't seen that before. It's really a great deal to get an extra $10.
Oh, music. That's not the end theme, Burky.
All right. Well, with that, it's been glad to see y'all. I'll let you finish her off there, Barry.
Okay, yeah, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you, Kevin. And until next time, thank you very much. And hopefully the music will kick in.
There we go.
And the times too.
We're so glad we had this time together. And now it's time to go. It won't be long until we have another show. So keep us in mind, get online. Burky and Badger will be back in no time.